Howdy, this is Matthew Pizgatti. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been watching my other videos today, yes, I am about to leave for St. Patty's Day and get some day drinking done at the bar to celebrate, but I did see an update from Forex Shark, the developer for the Animal Farm, Piggy Bank, DRIP ecosystem, network, what have you, and I wanted to drop that before I left. I wanted you guys to have the latest updates. If you're not in the Telegram chats, it's good for you to stay up to date on what's going on and what's going on with the piggy bank specifically. If you did have time lock stakes already in there, or you already had your pigs and dogs and they're paused right now, you're wondering what's going on. So here's an update today. Let me pause my notifications on my phone real quick so we're not getting blasted with those on the screen here on the left. So I do see this update that basically Forex is mentioning he's going through block by block, pulling all the actions from the piggy bank. He's running through all of the stakes that were gifted, any of those transactions, so that those can be reflected properly when he recreates this V2. He does mention, yeah, so that way we can recreate it, but with a higher starting seeded amount. And someone was asking how long it was going to take to when we could start sending our V1 pigs, and he says hoping tomorrow people can start sending in their V1 pigs and pigs LP. Remember, if you had stakes or they were already in the piggy bank, time lock stakes, you don't need to do anything with those. Those should be essentially airdropped or transferred over whenever the new one goes live. He'll start that process at launch, but before then, hopefully tomorrow, we'll get that update as to the address that you can send the V1 pigs and pigs LP. And you want to make sure that's coming from directly from Forex. If I post an update here, I will make sure to triple check the wallet address, and I'll put it in the description and everything as well. But yeah, hopefully we see that tomorrow. I don't have too many free like pigs that I need to send over, but I do have like a fraction that I'll send over just to test, because I might as well make sure that it's working. And then the other main bigger update from him was basically kind of like an overview. Well, here's a couple small ones along the way. It says the farms and pools are not changing, so you can keep your money in them. He says the only reason we're relaunching Pigs token is because a couple botters have way too many of them, and we have no good way of blacklisting them since they hold LPs, unless we launch a Pigs version 2. Says nothing's going to happen to the rewards in the farms. They're just paused for the moment, and so those will get started back up. And seeing if there's any other answers to questions, or I just wanted to also read the longer update that he placed because he kind of gives an overview as to why, again, this happened. Yeah, here's that update. So he says, as usual, our code works perfectly. This was not an issue with our code. The issue we had, and this is Forex Shark, the developer, speaking. The issue we had is due to using the same launch metrics as DRIP Garden, but DRIP Garden didn't get botted by snipers buying $500,000 worth at launch. If people would have just used the contract normally, none of this would have been an issue. Of course, I knew sniping would likely be an issue, so I did suggest before launch that we increase seeding amount, but my partner brought up that if we increase it too much, it would make it even worse for the smaller users, because the cost of buying a single piglet would be higher, and you need to be able to buy a whole piglet to compound. So because our countdown to launch was ticking down, we felt we needed to make a quick last-minute decision. We felt like the safer decision would be to go with what worked for the DRIP Garden, but it's a major lesson learned. We'll never set a launch date until everything's 100% done. That way we don't feel pressured to make a quick decision. He said if we had had one more day or even an extra couple hours, we would have realized the answer was to start with a higher seeding amount, plus increasing the piglet supply relative to the truffles. This way, it never costs more than a fraction of a cent to buy a whole piglet. But lessons learned, we did have protocols to prevent a disaster which have been put in place, and we will move forward better from the lessons learned. So that's Forex kind of giving you an overview. Kind of giving you an overview of what happened. He's saying it's not necessarily the code, although it sounds like at least they didn't start with the right the right amount of liquidity. He had mentioned that it was like too shallow when they started off. Threw off the price in the beginning. They were trying to copy the DRIP Garden because a lot of the mechanics are the same, or a lot of the mechanisms are the same, I should say. And that just did not really work in this instance. I'm just scrolling back through real quick to see if Forex said anything else, but it doesn't look like he did. So the expectation is that tomorrow we should see that address, hopefully, that's when that starts. And I'll update that as well if you're not in the Telegram, and I'll make sure to double check the address so that you have the correct one. And when that is available, when that's live, you'll be able to send your V1 pigs and pigs LP. The farms will be unpaused when version 2 launches, and your rewards won't be lost, it sounds like, in the farms. If they were pigs, I'm guessing you'll have to pull those out and then send them to the V2 address if your rewards were in pigs, which includes, like, well, some of the farms pay out in pigs, don't they? So those will, and I'll check those while I'm here looking. Was it some of the single stake pools? Yeah, like the dogs one, it's paused, but I don't know if it was still paying out during that time, but it sounds like if it does unpause and you still see an amount here when it's time to switch, you'll probably have to harvest them out if you want to send them over. Originally, the pig pen, by the way, was supposed to take longer to get back running because it does use pigs, and now it'll use the pigs version 2 token. And I think this was harder to set up with the BUSD rewards, and you're supposedly having like a stake in the project, like you're part of an owner in the project that you can vote on suggestions and improvements, things like that. But yeah, so as far as the Piggy Bank directly, you'll be sending any of your pigs and pigs LP to the new address. And then if you already have some staked, those should just be dropped back in. The smaller guys will be able to compound where they couldn't before. I can't because I don't even have one piglet. I'll have to buy some if they're not too much next week. And yeah, so that's where we are. Hopefully that fractional compounding will be added in. Hopefully the liquidity issue, the pool's fixed. We're not going to have the same price action at launch where people were sniping in early. I can't verify 100% that's what actually happened, but that is what the developer is going with, and that's what some people in the community think that's what they think happened. It could have been one lucky actual individual that really did just happen to hit it. 30 seconds before the countdown timer hit 0, he realized it was open from a back end, not from the UI, because I don't think the UI was enabled yet. But he may have been able to from one of the back end decentralized exchanges, PancakeSwap or something. And so I don't know if we know either way for certain which direction that went. But that's been your update for today regarding the Piggy Bank and what Forex Shark, the developer, had to say about it in the Telegram. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you on the next video, which will likely be tomorrow at the earliest. So you guys have a good one. Have a good holiday if you are celebrating, and stay safe out there. Thanks.